Hello, my name is Saman Kamran. I'm the founder and CEO of CUT Technologies and Solutions companies. Throughout my journey as an entrepreneur, I have gained valuable experiences from both my successes and failures. In addition, I had also the privilege of learning from other inspiring entrepreneurs from Iran, Cyprus, Switzerland, Italy, Germany, Portugal, Spain, China, South Korea, France, and Silicon Valley. I'm happy to share those experiences with you and hope to inspire and encourage some future entrepreneurs here. To share with you some lessons that I've learned from my personal experiences, I would like to start with some of my childhood memories. I had love for animals when I was a child, and it led me to create an NGO with my cousins and friends from school. We wanted to protect endangered animals in our city, and we were calling this NGO LMS. As the group was growing to 12 members, I realized that we need funds and to carry out more impactful activities, um, um, even for a nonprofit organizations. Funding is very important. Therefore, I have rebranded the NGO with a new name. We called it Oxygen Group later, and with a new mission to represent more diverse social and environmental activities. I came up with a business model by that time in which we could collect recyclable papers from our neighborhood, and we could sell them in a regular schedule. Then we were using this revenue for other costly activities of the NGO. Like many other entrepreneurs, my passion initially drove me, but challenges emerged one after another. And my mindset and the motivation were the only key factors in upcoming those challenges. It was the first and one of the most important entrepreneurial lessons that I've ever learned. To me, being an entrepreneur means working on something that you truly believe in it, and because only then you can make a positive impact in the world. Entrepreneurship is not just about the glitz and glamour that social media tends to portray, but rather it's mostly about being motivated and passionate about what you're working on. Even when you are facing many challenges, what keeps you going on is the motivation and passions you have in mind. Because entrepreneurial success needs determination, and your interests and motivations serve you as a fuel for your determination. As Warren Buffett also famously said, it takes determination to succeed. It's crucial to recognize that your mindset and energy will be anyway reflected in your team, in your product or service, and ultimately in your customers' experiences, and also the success of your company. Okay, now before even considering managing a startup, it's essential to also have a clear understanding of what a startup entity is and how it differs from an enterprise. I like this expression that says comparing a startup to an enterprise is like comparing babysitting to parenting. It's just an expression to understand two very different levels of responsibility. A startup is not simply a smaller version of enterprise. Your startup is going to be one of the greatest forms of organization that make the world a better place. To highlight some of the significant differences between startups and enterprises, firstly, communication in large organizations is much more limited among employees, while there is less hierarchy among team members of a startup. Secondly, individual job roles in a startup are neither precise nor clearly defined, and one has to undertake multiple job roles simultaneously. For example, You may feel in an organization as an analyst. You might do the work of an associate or any other position that is needed depending on the circumstances of the company. Thirdly, startups generally have less structure and more uncertainty. So it can cause one of the most obvious drawbacks of switching from corporates to a startup, because while working for a startup may provide greater recognition and direct feedback, the employees' payment is lower, and also wages increases only based on venture success. Knowing these differences is also essential to keep in mind that every large corporation started as a startup, and it rose to the top position simply because of its performance in securing its place and also having a brighter future. In general, to make an informed decision about your future career, you should consider various factors such as your management style, preferred way of operating, and how your upcoming positions align with your long-term professional objectives. You should identify the type of environment in which you like to grow and the kind of leadership style that motivates you. Additionally, taking into account your preferred way of operating can help you determine the work-life balance that works best for you. Therefore, by considering these factors, you should make a well-informed decision about your career path and choose the one that aligns with your personal and professional goals. So, if you consider taking the red pill and stepping into the journey of entrepreneurship, I encourage you to choose a startup project that you are deeply passionate about. Think of what will you appreciate more, a life of ease and comfort or a life of adventure. Finally, it's up to you to decide. I thought of these options several times during my life on different occasions. I've chosen the red pill every time because I think it comes from your personality and character. As I progress academically, obtaining a degree in physics and mathematics, I recognize the potential of computer science in realizing my goals more professionally and efficiently. I never liked form structures like schools, and I've never been a top student in my country. Be able to study in computer science. I had three main choices: being one of the top students in national exam to be able to study computer engineering and science in one of the universities, or studying another lower rank field in the national exam and still studying in top university in my hometown, or pursuing my dream to study what I like, but in a lower rank university and far from my hometown. Of course, the third option was mine. I took a bachelor's degree in software engineering and information technology in Cyprus. Changing that competitive playground was giving me even more confidence in my talents and skills that I was discovering there. And now being a top student was allowing me to pursue my studies for a master's in intelligence systems in Switzerland with well-known professors in that field. Additionally, I used the opportunity to complement my studies by taking entrepreneurial courses in finance, marketing, and management. Um, if you would like to play a game that you love, but in a playground that has some rules that it doesn't allow you to play in your favorite way, I think it's better to go and find another playground that has the rules which enables you to do what you like. I strongly believe that all of us as human beings should embrace multidimensionality and avoid limiting ourselves to a single linear path. Despite having finite time and resources, we should have the courage to explore many dimensions of the world that piques your interest. This is especially true for entrepreneurs running their own startups, and they need to constantly innovate and seeking new opportunities to grow and success. By being open to new experiences and willing to take risks, we can unlock our full potentials and also achieving greater things. From the early days of social networking platforms, I've become so much interested in the power of disseminating knowledge globally. Having some technical and entrepreneurial skills, now I could create a Facebook application that could gather knowledge from individual interested people in some specific topics, and I was doing this project as my master thesis. However, I soon realized that ensuring the reliability of the collected knowledge was very crucial. Therefore, I proposed studying this issue as the topic of my thesis. But to work on my proposed topic, I had to accept the condition of not receiving a salary, unlike other financially supported projects. I wanted to explore this topic in any way, and I wanted to do it in a high academic level. To support myself, I had to work 50% as a PhD student and 50% as an employee of a startup company. During this time, I learned the importance of full concentration on some entrepreneurial projects. It cannot be a side project, particularly in the early stages of your development. You really need to have concentration on your project. After demonstrating some real values of my work in academic and securing some access to the research grants, I resigned from my teacher position and I devoted my full-time attention to my own startup. I have defined a new mission to create an intelligent collaborative labeling platform that combines machine learning and human collective intelligence to develop reliable knowledge bases. My PhD thesis resulted in a framework for interactive and dynamic collaborative labeling. But that time, could meet many founders who were presenting their startups as an AI or big data startups. Similar to these days when you see there are so many startups presenting themselves as blockchain or Web3 startups without having a clear understanding of those concepts. During my entrepreneurial experience, it has been also very important for me to avoid falling in hype. I had to educate myself on how these technologies are working and distinguishing between the genuine and false claims and protect my business from potential traps. Another lesson for any startup is to have control and knowledge of core technology and operations. Outsourcing the primary features of a project without sufficient knowledge can be extremely risky. To minimize dependencies on other companies' technologies and environmental conditions, it's best to try to keep as much of the development in-house in your company. By doing so, you can maintain control over your startup's core technology, and you can reduce the risk of errors and ensure that your team has the necessary knowledge and skills to make informed decisions about the development process. Ultimately, minimizing dependencies will help you to build a more sustainable and successful startup. When you define and construct a strong base for all the main processes and operations in your startup, then technology will be very useful for scaling them. As technical founders, we could successfully establish take a startup company with the necessary technical skills to operate a sophisticated platform. However, we needed to also ensure the success of our business by recognizing the need to create a value for our users and also incentivizing individuals and businesses to utilize our platform. Our primary mission was to bring trust to online information and evaluations. At the same time, we needed to ensure that our effort to create value didn't detract from this objective. Therefore, we had to connect the dots by carefully balancing the creation of value of our users with our primary mission to establish a sustainable business model that aligns with our core values. On COD, we utilize a comprehensive labeling system to measure the level of trustworthiness in each aspect of the service, product, or content. Building on this feature, we have created a gamification system that can reward the users for their participation in collaborative labeling. For instance, in the case of restaurant industry, all aspects such as dishes, drinks, ambiance, features of the restaurant, sanitation levels, impacts on the environment, and accessibility are labeled with the representative labels. Coders or users of COD platform can easily agree or disagree with the representativeness of each label for each entity. Coders gain or lose credibility depending on the quality of their evaluations. Those with high credibility in evaluating each label, which is also trackable on their account, they may receive missions to evaluate the same label for other entities. For example, if a coder frequently dines at Italian cuisine restaurant and provides its evaluation on pizza, his credibility increases over time. If his opinion aligns with the highly credible evaluators for pizza, he gains credibility. And conversely, if their evaluation is at odds with highly credible evaluators, they may lose credibility when evaluating the same label. High credible evaluators can earn COD coins by completing missions to evaluate pizzas in other restaurants. This incentivizes users to continue providing accurate evaluations and participate in collaborating labeling, and in return, it contributes to the platform's goal of bringing trust to the online information and evaluations. Overall, the gamification system on COD is designed to encourage active participants and promote credibility, therefore benefiting both the users and the platform's primary mission. In general, to make successful startup, it's crucial to understand the main elements of startup success. Timing is a very crucial factor for startup success or failure. A startup needs to launch its product or service at the right time when the market is ready for it. And if the timing is too early or too late, the startup may fail to gain traction. The timing of the startup entry into the market is also important in terms of competition, because if the market is already saturated with competitors, it may be difficult for the startup to gain foothold. On the other hand, if the market is new and the startup is in its early ages, it may be able to establish itself as a leader in that market. Timing can also be critical when it comes to fundraising. If the startup tries to raise funds too early, it may not have enough traction to attract investors. Also, if it waits too long to raise funds, it may miss out the opportunity and fall behind its competitors. Overall, startups need to be studied about the timing of their launch, market entry, fundraising, and growth. It's important to monitor market trends, competition, and economic conditions to ensure that the timing is right for your success. Then when it's the right timing for your idea and you have the right team to perform, you need to raise funds or bootstrap your project. In both cases, you still need to prove that you have the working business model. Developing a successful business model requires customer discovery, validation, creation, and building, which can be facilitated by using tools like business model canvas. The business model canvas is the strategic management and leader startup template for developing new or documenting existing business models. It's a visual chart with elements describing a firm's or product's value proposition, infrastructure, customer, and finances. Entrepreneurs need to understand their business model very well and improve it by identifying key components and how they fit together. The business model canvas is divided into 9 segments: customer segments, which should say who are the target customers, value propositions, define what is the unique value that the company provides to its customers, the main channels, how does the company reach and interact with the customers, your customer relationship, what type of relationship does the company wants to establish with the customers, and the revenue streams, how does the company generate revenue, key resources to say what are the key assets required to operate the business, the key activities, what are the key activities that are required to operate the business, the key partners, who are the key partners or main suppliers that company can rely on them, the cost structure, what are the main costs involved in operating the business. By completing the business model canvas, businesses can gain insights into how each component of the business model contributes to the overall success of the organization. And it can identify areas where they need to improve and optimize their operations. Startups often aim for ideal exponential growth rather than linear growth. But it can only happen when you, as a manager of the startup, can put these mentioned elements in the right place at the right time. Nevertheless, it's essential to create, test, and improve your business model and repeat this work as many times as needed in a short time. You need to find the magic formula for growing your business very quick, considering you have limited resources. And again, as perseverance is crucial, but you also need to be flexible and willing to change your preconditions to adapt to some unexpected challenges that might happen all the time. You are not going to run your startup in a safe, controlled environment. To stay competitive in your industry, it's crucial to stay informed about the latest development and trends. This means keeping up to date with what's happening in your relevant sector, both in short and long term. By being proactive and developing strategies based on these changes, you can ensure that your business stays ahead of the curve and remains relevant in an ever-changing landscape. Remember, the key to success is being prepared and adaptable to changes as they arise. If you have a disruptive product or solution for the market, the most difficult part of the scaling sale is especially at the beginning. You need to introduce a new solution to people who are very used to a worse solution than yours. Clients always compare. Then they hardly accept a new or even better solution. Then after the first trial, have even another more difficult task because you have to keep them attached to your solution. While striving for success is important, it's equally essential to prepare oneself for the possibility of failure and to embrace the failure as a learning opportunity. As an entrepreneur, you must be aware that playing the startup game comes with inherent risks. It requires thinking outside the box, developing disruptive solutions, providing the viability of the product to the audience, and embracing failure as a stepping stone towards success is a key to this process. You need to learn from the mistakes and refine your approach as quickly as possible to ultimately improve your chances of having success. Know that I mentioned some of the key points that you should have in mind for managing a startup company. I would like to also emphasize on the differences between the two concepts of management and leadership. While having managing skills and knowledge in practice, you mainly need to play the role of a leader because managers mainly focus on controlling a group or set of entities to achieve a goal. While leaders are involved themselves in the project, they influence, motivate, and also have active participation in enabling others to contribute to the success of the startup company. The ability to inspire and influence is separating leaders from managers. Good leaders take risks before anyone else, and they sacrifice themselves for the team. This kind of leader inspires the team members to follow their vision and work toward achieving the main goals of the company. It's also crucial to allow team members to lead when the company vision, mission, and goals are well set and communicated. Startup management ethics are essential, including having empathy and mutual understanding of team members, leading in the hard counts instead of head counts, especially during layoffs, and providing reasonable payments to them, and promoting trust and cooperation among team members. By fostering a culture of empathy, trust, and cooperation, the startup leader can inspire the team to achieve their goals and create a shared vision for organizational success. Nelson Mandela is considered one of the greatest leaders in the world. He grew up with his father, who was a chief of a tribe, and in the tribe, they would sit in a circle, and Mandela's father was always the last person to speak. This highlights the importance of giving everyone in the team a chance to be heard and feel like they are making a valuable contribution for making decisions. As a leader, it's essential to listen to everybody's thoughts before sharing your own opinions. Defining your values clearly is also essential because it's enabling you to create a culture and a team that they all stand together during difficult times. Furthermore, people are seeking values in companies, and you can form team members who protect each other by putting into account the values that you define in words for the company. By doing so, you can surround yourself also with people who believe in what you believe because you have well communicated them with them. Ultimately, it's important to know people buy into why you do what you do, not just what you do. Therefore, the power of putting your values into words should not be underestimated. I think I have already shared the main points I wanted to communicate with you. Thanks for your attention. I would be very happy to also hear about your own experiences during your entrepreneurial journey. And please do not hesitate to contact me through my email address at saman COT.OOO. Wishing you all the best.